Hi, this is Twan, your Real Pew Pew. So, I don't have many subscribers, but I was asked by one to do a pros and cons video of my guns. So, I'm going to give it a test and see how it goes. This one here is my CMMG Banshee. This one is chambered in 5.7 by 28. It's clear. So, pros and cons. Well, pros of a CMMG Banshee, since I'm running 5.7 by 28, is that it's a very small caliber. Weapons platform. It's very small. It's slightly wider than my shoulders. So if I'm going into, if I'm doing any CQB work, tight quarters, I can get in there pretty tight. I can sweep through doors without really sweeping my weapon. And it's very light. So my loadout on my kit is right around just shy of 250 rounds, and my whole kit, including more, I have a level 4 plate, a level 3 plate, and some extra level 3A soft armor, including all my rounds and everything else. My kit weighs just a little over 33 pounds. So that's the pro. Now, cons about 5.7 by 28 is that it is a very, very specialized round that not a lot of people carry it. So if you go to the gun stores, you can find basic, the basic ammo. But if you're looking for the armor piercing ammo like that I normally carry, there's 3 manufacturers that I know of so far that are really, really effective. One is R&R Weapon Systems. The other one is Elite Ammunition, and the last one is Vanguard. I am not sponsored by any of them, so I'm not going to really give them any praise. But all 3 of those ammunition manufacturers carry really good armor-piercing ammo. So another downside of having a 5.7 by 28 is that, granted, it's very small, very lightweight, that your average target, because of armor piercing, like a big caliber, you have knockdown power. With a smaller caliber, you're not going to have knockdown power. So chances of a target getting hit and feeling it, they'll feel it, but dropping on the ground right away, being deceased, not very likely. So they'll tend to run off and perish somewhere else. So that's the only downside of that. But I mean, granted, on the positive note, you don't necessarily have to see them happen. So if you have family members or kids and something happens in your home, pew, 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 as long as you don't hit anything extremely vital, they run away, go down a street or two, neighbor's house, plop over there. So pros and cons of that. So let me switch to my next platform. This is my Ruger LCP2 chambered in 22 caliber. Now, all my weapons are hot. This one's got one round in the chamber, so I'm not going to do anything besides just hold it. Pros: it is a pocket pistol, so chambered in 22 caliber. Highly readily available ammo everywhere. Now, I am using the Stinger ammo, which has a velocity of right around 1,600 feet per second, 14 to 1,600 depending on which one you get. Now, because it is a 22, here's the cons. Cons of a 22, it's a 22. So, similar caliber to the 5.7, it's a 22 caliber type, 22 caliber projectile. So it's very small. You have to use a lot of rounds to effectively hit your target. If your target has a lot of clothing or armor, it's going to be less effective. But as an everyday carry for a pro, it's good to have. Lightweight, fits in my pocket, and no one knows that I have it. I carry it every single day, no matter where I go, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't get in the way. Again, the con is a 22 caliber, so if I have to engage on any heavy threats, guaranteed to lose. If I'm in a mall and there's something happening there, there's a lot of chaos happening, or since I live in Maine, very touristy place, I look like a tourist on certain times when I go out, then I'm going to blend in, and if something happens, then if the guy doesn't have heavy body armor, I might proceed to see if I can take the target out. But 99.999% of the time, if a situation happens with my family, we're going to duck out. I am not going to engage anybody. This is a last resort. If shit hits the fan and I have absolutely no reason, I have no way to escape, this is my tool to use to get out. My next one. This is my FN57 pistol. This one, it's loaded. Clear. Pros, very, very lightweight. It only weighs, with the magazine, having 20 rounds, the tactical light, and my Trijicon RMR SRO red dot, this weapon platform weighs 3 pounds. Yeah, 3 pounds. Now, the pros on this, it uses the same caliber as my rifle, 5.7x28. So I have a lot of armor-piercing rounds with this. Cons. The cons is it's 5.7x28. Ammo's hard to find and extremely expensive. But I bought all my ammo before all the crazy shit happened in California. So I got a lot of my ammo very cheap. Or I won't say cheap, affordable. Downside. This weapon platform, I know there's other ones that came out afterwards, is this weapon platform, sorry, light, will not fire with the magazine out. So magazine out, weapons in fire, clear, trigger's useless. So the magazine has to be inserted, magazine loaded, insert, do not rack, it goes off. So that's the only downside. So if I happen to get into a scuffle and somehow miraculously my magazine gets ejected, and if there's one in the chamber, I cannot fire it. That's a downside of that. Also, the downside is the trigger. The trigger is a 5-pound pull trigger with a 2 to 3 pound gun. Now, because of that, my trigger manipulation of the weapon, just doing that, the weapon changes pitch very slightly. Because of how straight this thing shoots, your trigger manipulation will make you throw a shot. So having a heavy trigger pull versus a lightweight gun, I tend to throw my shots quite a bit with this weapon. And I do not like it because of that reason. Can I send this in to get a new trigger installed? Yes, I can. But I don't have the money to send away for another $1,500 to get a new trigger, because it has to be torn apart. I'm not a gunsmith. And the person that does it at Elite Ammunition has a whole accurizing kit for it. So they change out a lot of the internals with the trigger to make it better. So then you'll have a 3-pound gun with a 3-pound trigger pull or less. When you have a trigger pull that's almost 1-to-1 of weight compared to trigger pull, your weapon platform does not change or move. So that is very good. My next weapon platform is my Canik TP9SFX. Very, very nice weapon. I Gucci'd all of my weapons out. This one here has the Taylor Freelance extended magazine extension flared mag well. I also have the new trigger, and it also comes with the Holosun or the Viper red dot. Now, one thing about this red dot con is as soon as you touch this thing to take the cover off or rack it, the buttons on the side are so sensitive that it turns the red dot on. So I used this a while back ago, and I touched it, racked it, played around with it, put it away. Came back and my red dot was dead. So had to take the red dot off, change out the battery, put a new one on. Con. Pro. It's a Canik. It's very inexpensive and a very good shooting gun. Again, all my guns, I'm using Insight, Inforce Tactical Light. The reason why it adds weight to it, mainly, and then plus if you're in a dark situation, you have light. But mainly it's for the weight. I know it's 9mm, doesn't really have a lot of kick, but trying to minimize recoil on all my weapons platforms is highly recommended, or that I highly recommend, so you don't have to worry about, you can actually stay on target a lot better. The longer you can stay on target without having any recoil issues, better groupings you can have. Roughly the size of your fist, no matter where you're shooting. So that's good. Con of this weapon, it's heavy, so you're not going to want to carry it every day, but I tend to, I don't care. But at the same time, with this being so Guccified, it's kind of a pain in the ass too. So one thing about living in Maine is, Maine of all states, the gun laws here are very similar to Arizona, and I can get any weapon here I want. I can open carry all I want, but since this is a fishing town and it's very, very small, there's really no need to open carry. And plus a lot of tourists, so a lot of damn tourists. So I try to keep concealed as much as I can. When I was in Arizona, I didn't care because it was Arizona. So people go to Arizona, they know it's the Wild West, so no big deal. Here in Maine, you have a lot of old people, a lot of people from other countries have no clue about gun laws here, especially in Maine, of all places. It's a sanctuary place for libs in general, but they don't realize the gun laws here are exactly like Arizona. So I don't want to stick out. So I tend to dress really nice and more upscale, and I conceal carry. So, but that's in general. I do have one more pistol. I'm not going to show that one. That one's my Beretta M9A1. That is meant for, that's more my combat pistol. But it's buried right now, and I got a lot into it. All these guns, I have a lot into it. All the internals on this one have been changed. Heavier spring, so I can use plus P plus ammo. Since it's a polymer lower, they tend to not like a plus P plus. But if you change out the spring, you can handle it. So majority of all the ammunition I carry is all custom, so it'll be able to handle all that. And then also I did get a custom holster for this by Red X, which is a company in Arizona. So they added a window, so when it's in here, it looks really damn Gucci. So everything matches, the red matches all the red inserts on this gun. The only downside is this is designed for competition, so it doesn't retain my weapon. It'll fall out. Now my FN, I took to Red X to get some of the really cool belt loops. I had Black Point customize this, but this sucker, this ain't going anywhere. So I have to really yank on it to get it out. So that is a really good holster. So wherever I carry this, I feel confident because no one is just going to be able to come and grab this gun and pull it out. They got to yank that bitch. My Banshee, on the other hand, because of the color because we lived in Arizona. It was more desert style or high desert as well as mountainous. But on the floor of Arizona, it was all brown. So everything I have is more tan color. Here in Maine, I would blend in perfectly during fall. So during spring and summer, I wouldn't blend in very well. But you know, if I had to do anything stupid outside. But fall, perfect. I can hide under a bunch of leaves in someone's yard. You won't even know I'm there. My 22 just has a flimsy holster, a pocket holster. The little ridge right here, obviously a lot of you know that it gets caught in your pants. So you put it in your pants, you reach in, you pull your weapon, and boom, the holster stays in your pocket. So I highly recommend taking the holster out before reinserting it into your pants, because depending if you have anything else in your pockets or you happen to hit the trigger, it can go off. So I always pull the holster out before I put the gun back in, and then I'm ready to go. So that's kind of a quick video of just what I have for the few followers I have. I'm just shy over 400, which really doesn't mean a lot to me, but I do have some people that are actually quite interested in what I have for my content. So, but yeah, that's just all the guns except for one in my collection, and some pros and cons. Right? Talk to you later.